See capital D's, one word, ConvoDD. That way you get 25% off and free delivery on your first order with the DoorDash app. Does not get much better than that, folks. My name is Dave Quadrelli. I'm joined, as always, by the man who built the place, Chris Faber. Our technical producer is Alex Allard. This is the Canucks Conversation. I am wearing a San Diego Padres jersey and a Seattle Mariners hat. As we are recording this, we're about 5 minutes away from first pitch between the Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays, who Vancouver Canucks head coach Bruce Boudreau said today is his team. He said it's Canada's team. Just keeping in mind that Bruce Boudreau is from Ontario and he's only spent a year in Vancouver.
Got a quote right here. Lisa sent this or gave this to us in person right there. Look at this beautiful Blue Jays quilt from the back view there.
Why are you putting it over my face?
Just showing it off, getting that Mariners logo out of here. Canada's team. Bruce Boudreau said it today.
I'm reluctant to show who's on the back of this jersey, but yes, it is a Fernando Tatis Jr. jersey. I've got my Mariners hat on, though. So let's jump into it, Chris. Let's switch up the cameras, Alex, and we're going to talk now because we've got a lot. This is going to be a fun little episode because we're taking questions from the listeners live on the YouTube chat. And if you're listening to the podcast, just remember, we're live on YouTube, 1 p.m. every day. Feel free to make us a part of your day. We like being a part of your day. We've seen people actually saying that they have started to kind of switch from the podcast and they're moving on to the YouTube chat.
Yeah,
so,
people moving their lunch breaks around too. You got to get 1 o'clock lunch break. That I think taking your lunch at 1's a good idea anyways, because then it's like, well, you only got a couple hours left in the rest of the day.
Yeah, you're making big assumptions about people's work days. But
take your lunch hour then.
That's okay. Okay. Let's jump into the chat here.
Oh, your video looks bad, eh? Look at that.
Nah, that's okay.
Video looks bad over there on Quadrelli's side.
We got someone in the chat already. Alien Pete jumped in and said, "Let's go."
Good job, Alex.
Love this new format. Big podcast listener. Love seeing Faber's prospect clips.
Yeah, that's all. Prospect clips good, but look at this video of Quads here. Looks like he's filming on an Android.
It doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, it looks bad over here. People in the chat, clean it up there.
It's your Wi-Fi. This is the problem. It's your Wi-Fi.
Oh, weird, because I'm connected on the same Wi-Fi, and look at me, crystal clean over here.
Whatever.
Yeah,
crystal clean.
Too. Yep, crystal clean. Let's get into right off the top. Before we get too much into the Canucks and Coyotes 7 p.m. Alex, pull it up. Look at this right off the top. Canucks dog doesn't have a dog in him. The Canucks now have a dog with them because the Canucks have added a dog to the roster.
Yes.
Look at this.
Meet Rip. The name, obviously.
You know what? Real
inspired...
missed opportunity here for me to say meet Tristan Nielsen and have the dog in him.
Oh my gosh.
Coming up. You got the dog in him there, Alex? Pull that up. There it is. There's Tristan Nielsen right there. Picture of a dog in him.
Yeah. So again, I hate that you do this for the podcast listeners. Faber just showed an X-ray of a rib cage and it had a dog poking out of it. That coming from Tristan Nielsen's doctor.
Actually, yeah. Send that over to his team doctor. The Canucks know him well. He sent us an X-ray Tristan Nielsen.
A couple more people in the chat here. Sarah saying, or 9 p.m. dinner from the UK. Kevin Punter said, yeah, dude, Quads, you're running like 50 pixels total. And then Cody Sievertson jumped in and said, let's go.
No, you're back
this new format. Big podcast listener. Hate seeing Faber's prospect clips.
I love people in the chat here. We have, is it Aiden from Australia or New Zealand? New Zealand?
Australia. Aiden Fox.
So Aiden from Australia. We had someone there from the UK there as well, did I hear?
Yeah, we've got listeners all over the world.
It's cool to hear all that stuff. Well, we had someone yesterday. Mitchell sent it in. He's a podcast listener regular. He's from Germany, but he went over to Sweden there. Watch Vacco. We had the picture there.
There you go.
Up in here yesterday. You were snoozing.
Jump into the chat now. You don't have to wait, folks. You can get the questions in now. We'll be saving them. We can scroll up. We'll be going back to those when we get to the chat question segment. But right now, we're going to talk.
Nope.
Okay.
Before we get to it, we don't have an idea for a name of this chat yet. So if your name isn't Cody Sievertson, you can give us an idea for what we want. Because I feel like one day a week.
Probably Fridays.
Maybe Fridays, but we'll see. Because I like Fridays to set up the weekend. One day a week, we want to do like a chat questions thing.
Yeah, like we'll take questions from the chat.
Let's bring in producer Alex and put him on the spot. Alex, you maybe have some ideas for this segment here to talk about the chat.
A name
questions.
for the segment. Give us a name, Alex.
For the chat. What do you think? Chat questions, Alex. Where are you leaning here? Producer Alex on the mic.
Don't really have anything for you guys here.
Way to put him on the spot.
No, I feel
Chris.
like yesterday Alex was spitting ideas like crazy. I was telling us after the show all these ideas for the chat.
Canadian Clay jumped in and said, Quads, my condolences on your favorite player, Tyler Myers, being out 2 to 4 weeks. And Alien Pete, kind of foreshadowing a little bit because I do have something on this. It's going to be running on Canucks Army tomorrow, Saturday. Who goes to the ECHL, Seelovs or Mikey Dipietro? I will get to that because I've got I've got something on this, and we'll answer that in the chat questions. But right now, Chris, let's talk about the Canucks projected lineup versus the Arizona Coyotes.
Alex got it right. Alex has it right on the bottom there, that little bar. Lineup and Coyotes. Light it up, Alex. Light it up.
As the chat already mentioned,
there it is.
Tyler Myers out 2 to 4 weeks. This complicates things for the Canucks. There's going to be an article on CanucksArmy.com very shortly from Noah Strang about 2 options that hit the waiver wire today to see if the Canucks might be interested in claiming one of those. Because as you kind of said before we went on air here, they kind of have to, right?
I think so. I think you got to add a defenseman at this point. You don't want to roll in there with 7 defensemen and one of them being Tucker Pullman, who really he's playing, he's been and healthy.
Let's okay. And Wolanin, he's impressed, but he's still not a regular NHL defenseman.
You don't want there to be so much pressure on the Pullman or Wolanin to come in and be here and be a guy that you're trusting every night. At least have another name to help them at this point, because Tyler Myers is going to miss some games. We do see no Quinn Hughes in the lineup tonight. This is not an injury. This is a planned night off. Boudreau kind of mentioned that it's the same thing. It was weird. We're kind of some of the guys in the media today at the game. We were just chatting. We're like, it seems like Boudreau likes the give my guys like 4 games in the preseason kind of thing. I think he even kind of mentioned that about JT Miller, where he was like
3 for Miller
in Edmonton. He's like, well, he's played 3. We'll get him a 4th look in against the Coyotes. So I loved Boudreau's quote about the Quinn Hughes, though. He said, why Quinn Hughes out of the lineup? Is it planned? Is it? And he's just said, you know what? We know what he can do. That's what Boudreau said about Quinn Hughes.
I think he's going to make the team. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think we're pretty aware of that. I like let's pull up the lineup here, Alex. We could pull this up here. The Canucks lineup for tonight, at least the forward group. My tweet. I'm at the practice there today, sending out pictures. I was a little surprised. Niels Amman. I've been surprised with him throughout camp. I think we're getting to the point now of seeing Niels Amman push a Jason Dickinson, which I tell you what, coming over from the SHL with a guy being 400th in scoring in the SHL last season, that's impressive to be able to come over here and make an NHL lineup. And right now, this looks like the final kind of tinkering of the lineup to see what it looks like before you get to opening night against the Oilers on Wednesday. Niels Amman's kind of played himself into that spot. Like has Tucker Pullman, or sorry, not Tucker Pullman. I'm just thinking.
Has Jason Dickinson played himself out of that position?
That's the thing. I don't think he's played himself out of that position, but he hasn't played himself into that position. In a similar way to Niels Amman has played himself to be in the conversation. He hasn't played himself to be into that position. Tonight could be a night where he does that, though. Like if Niels Amman has a really good night tonight and he's able to just play himself into that spot, look like an NHL 4th liner against, let's be honest, the Arizona Coyotes are not putting together a hell of a lineup here. This is going to be similar to
Alex Chason's in the lineup, so careful what you're saying.
Yeah, no, it was funny. My fiance was doing this thing where you have to pick a player. It's like a fantasy league, but you pick a player off of every team who's going to put up the most points. Who's going to put up the most points for the Coyotes? Like Shane Gostisbehere?
Clayton Keller?
I think she went with Clayton Keller, but I was thinking maybe Gostisbehere.
I think it's Clayton Keller.
Maybe Chason puts up 25 goals this year.
Speaking of fiancés / love interests.
Okay, here we go.
Addison Rae's birthday today.
Okay.
Oh, my girlfriend's not going to be happy about that.
No, she isn't. But happy birthday, Addison Rae.
Happy birthday, Addison Rae. You might see her on this episode when the quad sleeper cam pops up.
Pull it up, Alex. Good for happy birthday, Addison Rae. You've been on this.
Good for Addison Rae.
27, 21.
I have no idea.
She's probably younger than you. She's on the TikTok.
I didn't know who she was until you started saying that I was watching her on TikTok, which I'm not. I don't follow her. I still don't really know who she is.
I take pride in this show being pretty damn honest, and that's the biggest lie you've ever told on this show. You're over there swiping up and down here. Trying to double tap the screen right now, probably.
Okay, injury update. That's our next thing on the docket here. Let's get to it because, we said, you got more on the lineup. Well, what could you possibly have?
Well, we're 9 minutes in the show. Let's talk more about the lineup here. The first thing in the little bar on the bottom there. What about the defensemen? Without Hughes in the lineup, we're going to see what I expect to see for the pairings tonight. Oliver Ekman-Larsson with Tucker Pullman. That's probably going to be your top pairing tonight.
Oh boy!
So at least you're
buckle up, Canucks fans.
You're still playing the Coyotes, so that's not bad. Second pairing, I expect it to be Jack Rathbone and Luke Schenn, and then Christian Wolanin and Kyle Burrows, wrapping up a defense core where it's like, hey, you know what? This team looks a lot different without Quinn Hughes. Let's just put it that way. It obviously looks different without Tyler Myers, but even worse without Quinn Hughes. So I'm not still too worried about this game. I think the Canucks are going to end up running through the Coyotes at home to wrap up preseason. You're getting some of your guys back. JT Miller's excited to be back on the power play, obviously. He joked about it today, too. I asked him, like, hey, after seeing what they did, scoring 3 goals the other night against the Oilers, Are you just kind of itching to get back out there? And he's like, I thought I was going to lose my spot because they looked so good the other night. So, yeah, Miller's not having to worry about that. He'll be back on PP1. All right, let's get to your last one, Thatcher Demko and net. We're expecting to see a full game from Thatcher Demko. We haven't been told otherwise anyway. So
you should get a full game.
Full game for Thatcher Demko is what I expect to see. We don't have that confirmed, but also didn't hear anything because Spencer Martin did get the start the other day and played all 3 periods out in Abbotsford against the Oilers. Yeah, I'd expect to see a really good performance from the Canucks tonight. They're playing the Coyotes. Man, they should run through this team. I got more on that later on the Betway Bet. There's a little prequel telling you about what's coming up down the road. Foreshadowing is the word. Foreshadowing there for our Betway Bet. That's coming up a little bit later. But let's get to the injuries here.
Get those questions in, folks. But let's get to the injuries. Like you said, as we already mentioned, Tyler Myers.
Alex is so quick on that little bar on the bottom there. Look at that.
Tyler Myers.
Light it up.
Tyler Myers out 2 to 4 weeks with a lower body injury. That's the big one. But we also have some positive injury news. Obviously, Justin Dowling was placed on waivers today, which suggests that he's healthy. So that's great to see. He should be at Abbotsford training camp tomorrow. Don't think anybody's going to be claiming Justin Dowling. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. But I also just wanted to mention that there was a positive injury update from Bruce Boudreau today. Mentioned that Brock Besser and Ilya Mikheyev, he expects both of those guys to travel with the team. Both are going to be participants in practice, hopefully. Besser could be a full participant, and Mikheyev might be wearing a no-contact jersey. So that's what we're expecting to see. Boudreau expects both of these players to travel to Edmonton. So some good injury updates. Whenever it's an injury update, people get scared. They say, oh, well, who's gone down now? And we don't have an update on Travis Dermott. Like we said on the last show, not really sure. We don't want to speculate too much, but the guy left feeling woozy, and we just haven't heard any updates since. So all the best to Travis Dermott in his recovery.
Yeah, and I think let's start with the Tyler Myers thing there. Boudreau mentioned this, like with Myers out 2 to 4 weeks now with a lower body injury, are we expecting to see Quinn Hughes on the right side? This is the quote from Bruce Boudreau. He says, there's a good possibility that might happen. So a lot of contradicting
and that's why you do this in the preseason, right? Like, I know there was people kind of scoffing at it saying, well, what's the point? Like, you got this guy, and now you have a hole on the left side. That's why you do this, right? If you lose your top right-handed defenseman, the next guy behind him right now is Tucker Poolman, who we're talking about as being a guy like, does he even deserve to be in this lineup with the way he's played? I should mention, I was actually impressed with Tucker Poolman the day in Abbotsford, that game on Wednesday night. I was actually impressed with Poolman. And that was the same day that I was out here saying that this guy should probably be sent down. And if he wasn't making what he makes on a contract, he probably would have been sent down. With injury problems and with the way he played, you got to give him another shot, right? And I actually don't hate, I know I was poking fun at it before, but I don't hate the idea of him playing with Oliver Ekman-Larsson tonight against the Coyotes.
Yeah, it's
like, get the guy reps.
Sure, and it's going to get a big test, really, too. I mean, he's going to be using a top-line role. Probably see close to 20 minutes for Tucker Poolman tonight, depending on how much we see the Canucks have power plays, because we won't see Poolman out for that. But penalty kill, top pairing minutes, like, Poolman is going to get the final test of this preseason for him, and he's going to be tested a lot. It's going to be a situation where we're going to see Tucker Poolman be put to, like I said, pushed to the limit almost to his game. So that'll be interesting to see. Quickly, let's go back. I want to touch on one more thing from the lineup, actually, before we continue on.
Sure.
With injuries. Actually, you know what? I think we mostly covered most of the injury stuff there, right?
Yeah, we did. We finished all the injuries. I'm excited to get to these chat questions. We got some pouring in.
Quickly, let's go back to the lineup real quick. I want to talk about this line here. Pull it up there, Alex. Pull it up. Line up here. This line right here of Niels Höglander playing with JT Miller and Tanner Pearson. Interesting little trio coming together there. Miller said some good things about Höglander. Alex, you pull that up too. I got that in the worksheet here.
You gotta read the quote. It's our podcast.
I'm saying JT
listeners.
Miller. I know. I'm saying JT Miller's. He's talking about Niels Höglander and kind of saying how that fit's going to be nice. He likes the little fella here. Here it is, right here.
The little fella.
Well, that's what he said. He said he's got a. This is JT Miller talking about Niels Höglander. Says he's got such good energy and tons of skill. And he's pretty heavy for a little guy. He brings a lot of good qualities, and we're going to play a pretty blue-collar game tonight, and hopefully we get rewarded. It's JT Miller chatting about Niels Höglander adding to his line, because Pearson and Miller have spent a lot of time together so far here in the preseason. Niels Höglander hasn't seen a sniff of that line. So a little interesting mix here to see what happens, and this might be more of an indication to me of, like, hey, if Brock Besser is going to be pretty close to ready for opening night, what does this mean for Niels Höglander? Right? If he's playing in this spot right now, is this a spot that you're holding until Brock Besser's healthy? We expect And Bruce was saying that this is a little bit optimistic thinking, but he wants to see a full practice from Brock Boeser on Sunday. And
that would be a best case scenario.
It very much would be. It would be very interesting if we get to that point. And like you said, that's an optimistic look at it from Boudreau, but he also I think he knows what he's doing when he's talking to the media. He's not just like thinking out loud. I think he's, giving us a
grounded in fact.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the chat questions here because they're starting to pour in. I'm going to start. Alex, I don't think we have to hit the goalie intro, but put that camera on me. You can maybe put the sleeper cam on Chris for this one because I'm talking goalies. Because the first question in our live chat comes from Alien Pete. Who goes to the ECHL? Archer Silovs or Mike Dipietro? And I'm writing about this. I'm kind of talking to people behind the scenes, putting something together for Canucks Army. Like I said, hopefully it's going to be out on Saturday, but this is really interesting to me, folks, because I found out, and I think this actually got mentioned on Reddit. So shout out Canucks Reddit, because I think that's what started me down this rabbit hole and trying to figure out exactly what it is. But
Reddit doesn't like you, though.
Reddit loves me now. I'm one of them on Reddit, so I'm not getting into that right now. But Mike Dipietro has a standard player contract. I'm doing this all from memory. The folks on the live stream can see I don't read anything when I do this. But
barely. They can barely see it with the fogginess on your camera.
Whatever. Just settle down. Okay, can I get this out, please? You sit back, you scroll your TikTok. I don't know who the older version
I got here up on my screen, my second screen. I'm ready for prospect videos here.
Okay,
so let's get to it.
Hold on, because I haven't taken my sleep medication.
Look at this. See, Alex has got the back view right here. Look at this. What do I got up here, Alex?
You're watching prospects. Okay,
Boom.
Enough. Here we go. Mike Dipietro, Archer Silovs. The thing about players on standard NHL contracts, which remember Mike Dipietro is, you can't be sent down to the ECHL without approval. So Mikey Dipietro can block a loan to the ECHL. And what you expect from hearing Patrick Allvin say that they're only going to carry 2 goaltenders in Abbotsford and 2 goaltenders in the NHL, this is a string of events, right? They signed Colin Delia, but they don't trade Mikey Dipietro in the offseason. As I wrote earlier this week, when Colin Delia hit waivers, there was a chance that he would get claimed. He didn't get claimed, so now the Canucks have 3 goaltenders, and one of those is going to be the odd man out. What I'm curious about, Chris, is because of that, I wonder if they've already figured out a spot for a goaltender to go in the ECHL. One, I wonder if they're going to send Archers there so that he can play a ton instead of being behind Colin Delia, who, like I wrote about, is really excited to kind of work with Marco Terenius and Ian Clark and get his game kind of fine-tuned and bring some structure into his game, which he told me he hasn't really had at any point in his career. He kind of cited that as the reason that he's never been able to take that next step. So Colin Delia is happy to be in this organization. It's why he signed here. He signed here to get structure brought into his game by Ian Clark, and obviously Marco Terenius now working in Abbotsford and Curtis Sanford's old position as well. Kind of sees some similarities between himself and Spencer Martin. Kind of not a blueprint, I guess. When I was talking with him, he actually said like it's not really a blueprint, but you can kind of see the proof of concept by how Spencer Martin was kind of able to transform his game last season. So Colin Delia in a similar spot as Spencer Martin was last year. But let's get to really what this question is about, and that's the ECHL. I wonder if the Canucks have already figured out a loan spot in the ECHL, and 1, if they ask Mikey to report, 2, if they trade Mike Dipietro, and by all accounts, they haven't gotten any trade requests that have been anything worth their while. And again, like another thing you think of is why shoot yourself in the foot when it comes to goaltending depth, right? Like a position they have pretty good depth in, why get rid of that for nothing, if that makes sense? So that's another kind of aspect to think about here. But what I'm really curious about is who gets sent down to the ECHL. It's not just a matter of the Canucks saying, okay, Mike, you're going down. It's a matter of saying, Mike, will you go down? And look, I'm just speculating here, but I can't imagine Mikey Dipietro feels like he wants to go to the ECHL. Right? Like, I can't imagine, like, I haven't spoken to him about this. I'm not getting this from him, not getting this from an agent or anything like that. I'm just saying that at this point in his career, 1, I don't think Mikey Dipietro feels like he owes the Canucks anything. 2, I don't think that, and remember, the guy asked for a trade request this past offseason, and I'm not faulting him for that. I'm not saying that was a bad move by him or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm not sure that Mikey Dipietro is going to be looking at this situation and saying, oh, yeah, I'll go down to the ECHL, no problem. And I just wanted to point out, the big thing I wanted to point out is that...
cut you off there. How much of a fight is there going to be then from Dipietro?
What do you mean
Like,
fight?
well,
It's a snap of the fingers.
No, I'm saying like to not go to the, to put them in a weird spot of saying, oh, well, maybe we're going to keep 3 goalies here, just not play you. Like to me, this feels like there's going to be quite a bit of a
that's an
problem
option
in the AHL. If he just says, no, I'm not going to the ECHL, I'm not doing that.
That's an option.
What does he do? Sit in Abbotsford?
Well, hang on a sec, because here's
go to Lou's for dinner every night.
Here's an interesting
Spicy
tidbit. Here's an interesting tidbit because
wings.
there's an example of this, a recent example. Jordan Binnington. The Blues tried to send him down to the ECHL, and he said no. He declined it. He did what and again, I don't want to say I expect Dipietro to do this, but what Mikey Dipietro has the power to do, Jordan Binnington did it. Worked out for him, did it not? Because I think he won the cup the next year, if memory serves correct. And again, I'm not saying Mikey Dipietro is going to lead anybody to the cup next year.
Thatcher Demko, who?
But my main point is that, we've seen this. We've seen a guy in Jordan Binnington who declined, just flat out declined to go to the ECHL, and then he got loaned to another AHL team. The problem with that is, why are you going to play a guy ahead of your own guys, if that makes sense? A loaned goaltender, why are you going to play him ahead of that goaltender that you have? So just something to keep in mind. Mikey Dipietro can block a move to the demotion to the ECHL, excuse me. Archer Silovs, who is on an ELC, cannot. So I wonder, because again, we've talked about a lot. Archer Silovs is viewed as the goalie of the future in this organization.
Yeah, that's definitely changed in a year's perspective of looking at the AHL now. It's very much gone from, is Mikey Dipietro the next up-and-comer to be the backup in a couple of years? It feels a lot more like Archer Silovs now.
Well, yeah, exactly. And again, so now you wonder, do they want Archer Silovs just playing a ton in the ECHL? Because he'd get that opportunity to play a lot in the ECHL, one would assume. So again, you have to find a good scenario for him where he would play a lot. Just something to keep in mind. And sorry I spent so long talking about this. And there's a poll in the chat right now. I don't think you have control of this, so I'm wondering who the hell did this. I don't know if it was Alex. If he did, Alex is going to be in your good books even more. But a little poll in the chat.
Alex is already in my good
goalie book. Talk boring, and it says yes, also yes are the only 2 options. I'm not voting in this, and I'm very upset about it. What are you
going to vote? Yes or also yes?
The live chat. I'm just pointing out, we got more live viewers right now than anybody. So that means people were texting their friends saying, "Hey, Quads is talking goalies. You better hop in here." We got a high number of people in the chat right now, and I don't even know.
Got any other questions then? What's going on in there?
Yeah, we do have other chat. Yeah, Riley Puss jumped in and said, D. Petey, really? And this is going back to our old Atlas Goods poll question from the other day, where we've let the listeners and the readers at Canucks Army vote for Repeaty or D. Petey as the nickname for the newly drafted defenseman Elias Pettersson. DPD won, and I know that was the one you liked. I like Repeaty, and I can't believe DPD won. It's a horrible
Repeaty. That sounds
name.
Even worse.
Repeaty is a great name.
Repeaty sounds a little bit better.
It's not. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing this again. Where I explain to people the pronunciation of the word repeat. It's not repeat. The word is repeat.
I would say repeat. The repeat like shows when you say like the repeats are on. No. Watching repeats.
Repeats.
I'm watching repeats on television. That doesn't sound right.
The word repeat. That's how you pronounce the word.
Repeat.
All right. Anyway.
What else you got in there? Any other questions?
Yeah. It is on really question. Daniel J. Kirk jumped in. Love it all. Keep going with the prospects report. You guys rock.
So I'm saying people want the prospects here.
We will have a prospect report. Daniel, appreciate the support. A lot of people in the chat, actually. Canadian Clay, thoughts on the Ugyhur extension and what it means for the Canucks adding a right-handed defenseman next offseason. The Calgary Flames signing Mackenzie Ugyhur to an extension. Look at that. Already on the screen. Beautiful work by our producer, Alex Szilard. 8-year extension.
That's me. I don't know. Alex didn't do anything. He just flipped it over to me.
8-year extension at 6.25. That's a discount for the Flames, is it not?
I'm just flipping through back and forth showing you that was me.
You got anything to say?
Well, I want to answer the question. How does it affect the Canucks in approaching I mean, Uyghur's I think a highly underrated defenseman, at least, on what he's going to bring to this team, specifically like the offense that I think he's going to bring from the back end to the Flames. And it just kind of shows like, listen, Ugyhur isn't going to be kind of used as like a top pairing number 1 guy.
Yep.
And he's still getting 6.25. So this is what you're going to have to pay, a guy who's playing on your second pairing as a right shot defenseman. I mean, that's just the way that the league is going right now. And I think, we had Frank on yesterday. We're pulling up his tweet right here. You can see Frank Cervalli right there. Pick his nose with the clicker right there. Frank Cervalli. And then what I'm saying though is like these contracts that you're going to sign, I think over the next like 6 to 8 months are going to be really interesting, because I think this might be the time where you can get a little bit of value. If the cap's going to go up like we've heard it is, like this next 6 to 8 months to me is really going to be interesting to see how many people want to go for 8-year deals. Because 8 years from now, what is the cap? I don't think it's going to be anywhere near $82.5 million.
North of $92 million.
Yeah. So I think that's what's going to be interesting to see contracts like this. Like Uyghur's contract right now at 6.25. I think it's fair. I don't think it's a bad looking deal. But 8 years from now, I bet it looks a lot better when you're paying a Mackenzie Uyghur that much money when it comes to percentage of the cap anyways.
Okay, Alien Pete jumped back in and said, any rumblings today, beginning of the long weekend? Could there be a trade, a Horvat extension? Canucks love to announce things before a long weekend. I want to point out, Brock Besser extension, JT Miller, well, not extension, contract. JT Miller and Brock Besser contracts both announced on the Friday ahead of a long weekend. So we'll see.
Something's coming.
Something's coming. A lot of rumblings. Just kidding. There's no actual. Okay, I don't know anything about.
I hear it in the chat. Extension. I can feel it in the chat. They want prospects.
Well, we've got a lot here. There's a lot of questions, Chris, and we got to get to it. Canadian Clay jumped in about my goaltending answer and said this is an iMac length answer.
That's good stuff, Clay.
Big love to Ian McIntyre. And Daniel J. Kirk jumping in with another question about goalies. Can goalies that go to the ECHL still get premium goalie coaching? This is a really interesting question because I was kind of chatting with Ian Clark about this more in the context of sending prospects out like Ty Young going to the Prince George Cougars, Aku Koskenvo going to Harvard. And Ian Clark really puts the onus on himself to build a relationship with these guys that are going to be working with the Canucks prospects and the Canucks goaltenders as a whole. So I would expect, and Ian Clark is just so well connected all over the league, right? And I shouldn't even say all over the league. I should say the world, right? In multiple leagues around the world. So
yeah, they love him in Finland.
Yeah, I don't think Ian Clark's going to have any trouble making a relationship with the ECHL goaltender. And again, he when I was chatting with him this couple months ago, he did mention like, yeah, you have to respect what they're teaching as well, but you also need to make sure your guys have the tools to succeed and jump to the next level.
Sure,
right?
I'd be very surprised if ECHL teams have like a full-time goaltending coach though too. And I'd be pretty surprised, but a lot of AHL teams don't have a full-time.
Yeah,
coach.
exactly. So again, you have to keep that in mind. Delilah jumped in and said goalie talk is the best part. Kevin Punter said goalie talk can hang, to heck with the haters. Thank you to you both. And there's a lot of other people jumping in the chat. We appreciate.
I like the
all
poll questions in there.
Yeah,
it's
okay. We'll close it out with two more. Sarah said, which country would you like to see the Canucks play a global series in, and why is it the UK? She's from the UK, as she mentioned. So we'll say the UK for your sakes. I would say Italy. I want to see it in Italy.
Oh yeah.
We could go. What's
a concession do you think for a hockey game like in Italy?
Just pizza.
Pizza?
Tiramisu. Gabagool.
Never had tiramisu.
All right. Nirav jumped in the chat, said, who will have more points by the end of the year? Höglander or Podkolzin? I'm going with Vasily Podkolzin on that one.
I think that's a good question.
That is a good question. I don't want to gloss over it either. I think it's Podkolzin.
If you're thinking like who's going to make a bigger impact on a nightly basis, it's 100% Vasily Podkolzin. But if you're talking points, we haven't seen a sniff of Vasily Podkolzin on a power play unit.
That's a good point.
We've seen a lot of Niels Höglander at least getting the opportunity to be on a power play unit. Also now, Höglander playing in that role in the top 9. What was it, by Christmas, they said?
Yeah.
Give me Höglander.
No, they said by the end of the year.
Oh, end of the year? I'd say maybe by Christmas,
school.
I'd say
season.
Season. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know why I said school.
Well, back to school. I've seen people saying, yeah.
I just got my new backpack.
This video is making you look even younger than possible. And then you got the bad quality on the
oh, whatever. Enough with this.
It's coming back though. Now it looks good. There we go, Alex.
It looks great. It's not Alex's fault. It's your Wi-Fi.
That's what I'm saying. I'm on the same Wi-Fi here. Okay. All right, let's get to a prospects report, please.
Yeah,
I got stuff to do here. Boom. All right, let's get it going right here. Look at this. Our guy, number 1 prospect in the Vancouver Canucks system, Jonathan Lekaremaki, selected in the first round of the most recent NHL draft. Jonathan Lekaremaki scoring at 5-on-5 today in his Allsvenskan game. This is important because it's 5-on-5, folks. We do not see a lot of 5-on-5 goals from Jonathan Lekaremaki. Haven't seen a ton over his SHL career. So for him to score at 5-on-5, huge. You like to see this other part of this goal. He's actually just going to the net. Go to the net. This is what we need to see from this kid. A drive to go out and get the puck, create things on his own. I know he's the one receiving the pass on this one, but this is good to see. Jonathan Lekaremaki going to the net. You love to see it. Eh, Quads? You like looking at that stuff over there, Jonathan Lekaremaki prospects?
Yeah, I love it, Chris. I love watching the same goal over and over. Also,
what are you talking about?
Our favorite Oilers fan, Yash Arya, jumping in the chat, saying, yo, Canucks fans. Yash has actually been here every show I believe since Bagged Milk, which was no, before that, Tuesday, I think, was Yash. Yash, welcome to the chat. We appreciate your presence.
Did they just say hi?
Just said yo Canucks fans.
Okay, appreciate it.
And it's Yash is an Oilers fan that just keeps jumping in our chat. We appreciate it.
It's fine to connect with other fan bases
branch
a
out,
little bit. Yeah,
the only person in the Oilers fan base we don't like is Bagged Milk.
Oh geez, I tell you what, Bagged Milk. That's what it looks like you're filming out of on that camera. Flip that back there, Alex. Look at this. Oh my goodness.
Oh, whatever. It's your fault.
No, it's not. I'm on the same Wi-Fi.
Whatever.
Here we go. Look at me.
Whatever.
Crystal clear.
Get me on wired.
2880p over here. 2080p.
Okay. Do you got anything else with the prospects?
Yeah,
report?
I do have more prospects. I got no more videos though, unfortunately. Aiden McDonough, Jackson Dorrington, couple of Northeastern Huskies. They had a tough opening weekend last weekend. I told you that. Even though they won in overtime, they should have won that game 5-0. Tonight, playing against Vermont at about 4 o'clock. I'll have all the clips up on Twitter, so follow along for that. And then Jonathan Meyerberg, right shot defenseman. We like him. He's moving up our charts, closing in on being a top 5 prospect for the Vancouver Canucks. Right shot defenseman, big body, big broad shoulders, quads. He's got big broad shoulders, just the way you like him. Addison Ray, big shoulders too. But Jonathan Meyerberg, he playing top pairing minutes for Mora, which we learned yesterday on the show. Don't have to say IK at the end because people know that I'm talking hockey here. I'm talking hockey. I'm talking Mora. So Mora is the team that he plays for in the Allsvenskan. Jonathan Meyerberg, top pairing minutes. Didn't put up a point or anything today, but nice to see him playing top pairing minutes. 20-plus minutes probably. Haven't gone back and checked it out yet, but good stuff.
In the chat, Yash Arya jumping back in said, "Don't go dissing my boy Bagged Milk. He's a good boy, Oilers fan."
No, we like
love
Bagged
Milk. We love Bagged Milk. That was a joke. Okay,
me and Bagged Milk basically, very similar interests away from hockey.
I'm going to Arby's with Bagged Milk next week. I'm very excited for it. I get to hang out with Bagged Milk. It's always a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And the weather's supposed to be not that bad in Edmonton next week.
Well,
so
that's good to hear. Yeah,
yeah.
Good. Yeah, nice. Are you missing the show? When are you going there next week anyways?
I am there Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
So you're going to be from the Oilers Nation studio.
Yeah, Thursday you might actually do the show without me because I might be on a plane. I think I land at 12:55.
Well, yeah, you're not that far away. You can make the show in the
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do a hit.
I'll do it.
You pick me up from the airport.
Hour-long prospects report here.
There you go.
Just
I won't put the listeners through. I'll make sure I storm my way back into the show somehow. Okay, let's get to
Hold on, can I bring up the waiver thing we didn't touch on?
If you want, sure.
Interesting. I just want to say, just put a name out there.
Just keep in mind that when people listen to this episode tomorrow, this is going to be outdated.
Sure. Johnny Kovacevic.
Johnny
is what I'm going with, yeah.
Okay.
6'5" defenseman put on waivers today. From
right-handed defenseman.
6'5", right shot defenseman, 25 years old, 3rd-round pick in 2017. 3 more years at $766,000. We got the stats here as well. Alex, pull it up, Alex. Pull it up. There it is. But Merrimack College, NCAA. This is 6'5" right shot defenseman, put up 10 goals in the AHL last year. Okay. Doesn't come out of nowhere. I'll tell you what. All right, get it out. Alex, pull me up here. Look at this. Here he is right here, the big fella. 6'5".
Right there. He put up 11 goals.
6'5". That's why I said 11 goals in the A last.
10.
Well, double digits, same thing. Here he is right here. We're looking for the replay here. This is a long video.
Faber's false narrative.
Pulling up here. Here it is. Manitoba Moose. Good squad. Former Canucks AHL team. Look at this. Big guy, 6'5". Where's number 4? Wrist shot. Ding. Boom. Double post and in.
This is great for the podcast listeners. Again,
well, people understand he's got a good shot from the point, big body. He's free. He's on 3 more years. That's 766. What are you doing here?
This will actually be up shortly. A deep dive into both of these guys' games on CanucksArmy.com. You can go read that.
Both of them. Who? Johnny and me? My game? You got some of my old Ubik tape?
Kovic or whatever his name is.
Okay.
I can't remember his name.
I'm just saying, he's 6'5" right shot defenseman. If you're the Canucks right now and you're sitting in a spot right now where you're missing a big right shot defenseman, listen, you only got 7 healthy guys right here, and one of those healthy guys is Tucker Poolman. The other one's Christian Wolanin. I'd be really thinking about picking someone up off waivers, and this guy's a good example of a player who, yeah, he played in the AHL last year, but he's 25 years old. Maybe he's worth a shot here. I like it.
I like it too.
Big body. Make him do, push him around. Get him out there pushing people around a little bit.
Get it.
6'5".
Okay. Chris French jumping in the chat saying, hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late, guys. Yash Arya adding something. Demko, Vezina candidate, Igor Vasi, or Saros. I went UC Saros. We made our picks for Daily Faceoff. I think UC Saros is getting a Vezina win this year.
Lots of goalie stuff in the chat.
Yeah, lots. People like it. Okay. Let's get to our Betway wrap up. Our friends over at Betway, we have got, is it a baseball one? I haven't even looked at the
Pull it
line.
up, Alex.
Pull it up, Alex.
Alex, pull it up. I got a good one here. Look at this bonus bet. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's a Canucks one?
I got a Canucks one tonight. Yeah, preseason bets. You don't like them. You don't like to do them that often.
This is what your preseason bet is betting on.
No, I'm saying, listen, people that are like trying to make money, if you're betting to make money, maybe give your head a shake. But like if you're trying to just have a little fun, Canucks win 4-0 tonight at 41-1. So what do? You put $50 down on that. No, you're coming home with like $2,000 almost.
It's free money.
So you put $2 down. Listen to this: $2 down on the Canucks winning 4-0. Right? You hit that $82 plus your $2 back, 84. Okay. You're walking out of there, Tristan Nielsen 84. Boom! Now you're laughing. Or you just put the $2 down on the 13. You walk out there with 26. And then if you're like, I'm just here for the actual bets, this is the bonus bet.
This is incoherent for podcast
So
listeners.
For this bet here, this is from the Padres game tonight. For the first pitch to be a strike of the game.
First pitch was a strike in Jays Mariners.
Yep. So this is on the Padres game.
And it's Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer is going to be throwing that first pitch.
It's going to be a fastball down the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. You take this bet. Good bet here. And yesterday we hit on the bet too. Yesterday, yeah. I got somebody tweeting at me said should have bet $50 like you said. That's what they said in the tweet. I said don't send me any tweets when you lose because I don't know. I'm not a betting expert.
No, but our friends at Betway are, so check them out.
They got articles on there teach everything about everything on betway.com. Yeah,
go check out Betway. All right, we'll wrap it up there for my co-host.
What about the chat? Nothing in the chat.
Nothing in the chat.
Show the chat some
love.
Nothing
in the chat. All right. For my co-host Chris Faber and our technical producer Alex.
You just want to get out of here. You got the Mariners game on in the background.
The Mariners and Jays game.
That's what we should have had in the bubble here. Pull it up, Alex. The bubble here. This is what we should have had. I should have Mariners logo in the Quadrelli sleeper cam because that's what he's been thinking about all show here. Pretty much.
I didn't want to have to do it. Chris Faber's mic is now muted. That's right. I muted you. I'm sorry. For my co-host Chris Faber, my name is David Quadrelli. For our producer Alex Lard, my name is David Quadrelli. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Canucks Conversation.
It's Chase baby.
Thanks for listening to Canucks Conversation, delivered by DoorDash. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
How about keep it to a thank you, Jim?